Okay, we're going to take the old headers off now. Get that old junk out of the way. And maybe change out the transmission after that while all the exhaust is off. It'll be easier to get at. Are we having fun yet? Well, that's got the headers removed now, and we got lots of room to work with there. Put the new headers in, and I got some other stuff I got to do while I think I'm going to change the transmission while the exhaust is off it, and do anything that needs to be done is going to get done, and including I'm going to lower the engine down in here to run those headers that were on there. This engine had to be shimmed up, and if you look down there you'll see there's a stack of washers there, and some more on the back part, and same on the other side. And I'm going to take those washers out and lower the motor down, because with the new headers it shouldn't be a problem with the headers hitting these motor mount towers. So yeah, it'll bring the motor down at least 3/8 of an inch, I think. Hard to see those ones there, but anyways, let's check out these headers that I just took off. These headers were actually for 351 M, and the ports are the wrong size. The flanges work, but the ports are the wrong size. They're not the right shape or anything. And you can see where this one here was leaking so bad it was burning spark plug wires off right at the plug. And there's another bad leak there, and so on and so on. So yeah, it was nasty. It wasn't good. And something else I found is can't really see the one that right there, but there's leaks around the collectors as well. And I thought my hearing was getting better with age, but it wasn't so much my hearing was getting better, but my truck was getting louder. Every time I drove it, I thought that I don't remember it being this noisy in the cab when I was younger. But hopefully the new headers will, well, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to sound way better with the new headers on it. And I'll bring those out and show you those in a little while here. And we'll carry on. Well, I got all the exhaust pipes off now, whole exhaust system. I'm going to reuse these tailpipes and mufflers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up another reducer flange and reverse it and use it to hook the new pipe to that's going to come down from those shorty headers, and make it so that if I want to open those up, I can just pop those three bolts out there, and I can uncap the headers if I want, which I probably won't, but the option will be there. And besides, it's easier than trying to pull this out and put the new pipe into that muffler, and it's just it's going to save some work and make things a little bit easier to work with later on. So I've had a change of plan when it comes to the water pump. Now, the water pump that was on this was not leaking, or, well, it was. Let's put it this way: the seal and the bearing were not leaking. The seal and bearing are fine, and I just kind of thought that since it's the original water pump that came on this motor when it was brand new. Now, I'm not so sure how to read the date of manufacture on these, but apparently one of these numbers and letters indicates the date of manufacture. And the fact that it is an original Ford water pump, which I'd already tagged it and set it up put it away in inventory. But I would rather use this pump. Now, I did find a place where I can get it rebuilt if I want. But like I said, it's not giving me any troubles. It wasn't leaking or anything except for where that stripped bolt was, right here. The threads and the timing cover were bad, which I'm going to put the Healy coils in to cure that problem, and I think I'm going to Healy coil that one, and there's a couple more over here that I'm going to Healy coil as well. But this pump, the new water pump, would probably work fine. Maybe not, I don't know. But the thing that's the problem I'm having is the fact that if you look at this label here, you'll see that this water pump is made in China. And I don't know about you, but I just can't bring myself to put a made in China water pump on an American muscle motor. I can't do it. I tried and I just couldn't. Something was holding me back. I just couldn't do it. So anyways, I'm going to paint this one back up, and I'm going to pick up some water pump lube to dump in it when it's back together, because that's what I've usually done. And this motor, the cooling system has been flushed and changed many times, because that motor's been in and out of this truck for, I can't even count how many times I've pulled that motor out, and it's been rebuilt twice because I hurt it. And it was hurt when I bought it, and then later on in 1993, a valve lifter came apart, and a little disc out of the valve lifter, and it's got solid lifters in it. A little disc out of the valve lifter went down into the pan, and believe it or not, the sump picked it up. And although the sump has got a screen on it, there's a flat bar that goes across it, and a hole in the middle of the screen with a grommet in it, and God knows how, but that little disc got through that hole, went up the suction tube into the oil pump and locked the pump, and twisted off the pump drive, which is the hex shaft that runs down from the distributor to the oil pump, and twisted the pump drive shaft up like a barber pole, and then it broke. And oil pressure dropped to zero, and there I am in Winnipeg, and we got big trouble. But that's another story. So anyways, I had the motor was rebuilt again then. I had it balanced and blueprinted then. And two of the items that I don't have anymore, the original Boss 302 stuff that came with this, is the original Boss 302 exhaust manifolds. I don't have anymore. I wish I did. They you know what? They didn't fit on this truck properly, anyways. They were a bad match for where the clutch linkage goes and this and that, and they just didn't work nice. And that's why I took these headers that are here and modified them. Did a fair bit of alteration to these headers. As you can see, this one pipe's got a number of welds in it where we changed it and made them work. But these headers were never right for it. So the new headers, once you see those, you'll see that it's a way better deal. But that's where we're at right now with this. We're going to use the original water pump again. And I got the paint for it to clean it up, and we'll put it back on and run it. Okay, we've got to take this other water pump back, return it, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I need too. Well, there's the new headers. Brand new Sanderson headers. Kind of see the tag there. And just to show you the difference in the header, the ports. Oh, jeez. Okay. Those are the cavernous Boss 302 ports. And there's the old headers. So you can see where the problem was. You can see where the port on the motor was way bigger than the one on the header. And the headers are actually designed for 351M heads, or I believe the 2-barrel Cleveland heads are the same, I think. Don't quote me on that, but anyways. So once these headers go on, I'll be able to do some tuning on this motor and make it run better than it ever has since I've been using it. It's never had a proper exhaust on it because headers for a Boss 302 in a Ford pickup were never available because it never came from the factory that way, and there's very, very few Boss 302 motors in Ford pickups. But anyways, that is a 427 single overhead cam. I believe they were rated at 650 horse from the factory. And actually, they weren't rated at that. That's actually the horsepower that they were producing. They were underrated, such as with the Boss 302 was rated at 290 horsepower from the factory, and the actual horsepower is more around 345. So a little bit of tweaking, it's pretty easy to squeeze at least 400 horse out of these. I have a tunnel ram with two 600 Hollies on it for this motor as well. And I can't get to it right now, but I'll pull that out later and we'll look at that. Anyways, zoom zoom.